Right, welcome to this week's episode of Work the Left Side. I am joined. We have a four-corner triple threat. That makes no sense at all. Four corners of doom.
You said that. You said that.
Off to a great start. I love it.
I have no idea. Right, I am joined by Mr. Ryan Palmer, Mr. Mick Connolly,
Hello.
and the man with one name, Ash.
Greetings, humans.
How are you all doing, guys?
Reach. I'm good.
Very good, man. Thank you.
Not bad.
I've fucked up already, so I'll get started. And I will say we are here this week to discuss our top fives, whether we want to do top five currently, top five ever, want to do both. It's open season on opinions and discussions. So we will go clockwise on my screen. So the top left-hand corner on my screen, which is probably not going to be how it appears when it's edited. I'm going to look like an even bigger tit. Is Mr. Ryan Palmer.
Right. Yes. My top five is the top five wrestlers that I've seen this year that I've been most impressed with. Be that if they're like skill-wise, of any kind of skill, promos, wrestling ability, doesn't matter what country they've been, where they're from. You know, most of mine are English anyway. Apart from, what the hell is going on there? You're upside down, oh, you're back. In no real particular order, first one is Leon Slater, who is like a black Will Ospreay. He's really, 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 really good. He just defies gravity whenever he's in the ring, as a singles star or as a tag team wrestler with his. He's tagged with various wrestlers around the.
Did he tag with a man called Dries?
Yes, man like Dries.
Yeah. When I say it, the name sounds really familiar, but I was just trying to place who the guy was. Yeah.
When I say 0-1, you say 2-1.
They're fighting the Rascals on PW.
Yeah, he was the guy on the outside of the ring, right? Was that right?
No, in February at 1PW, he's him and Dries are fighting the Rascals.
Oh, right, yeah, of course, yeah. I thought you meant Doncaster. Yeah. Awesome, yeah.
Yeah, Slater's cool. That's a good shout.
He's really good. He's a really nice kid as well. Him and Dries, they often are at North Wrestling, and they do tons of high spots. The matches are just like spot on, near enough botch free. They've got a spot there. They're known for a spot where they do the 3D as well, really good, and they do double 450 splashes. There was one, I can't remember what show it was at, but there's one show where they did it. I think Dries did a 450 splash. He hit the lights, come down, landed, and then Leon, he hit a 450 splash, hit the lights as well, and then landed on Gene Money, like he sat on him instead of like probably like splashing on him. Like in the next shows that they've been to, there's always a chant of "Watch the lights, watch the lights, watch the lights." So Leon Slater, he's definitely one to watch for the next few years as well. The past this year, and I think the back end of 2021 as well. He's just been really, really good. That's my first one. Second one is his namesake. It's Liam Slater. They're not related at all. One's black, one's white, but hey, they could still be related, but they're not actually related.
It could be the Dudleys, man. Could be the Dudleys.
Liam Slater's been on the scene for a good. I've watched him for about 5-6 years. I'm sure he's been on the scene at least 10.
Oh, about 10 years ago in Bradford. Very small position.
He's still going. He's now. He used to be Liam Lazarus, and he used to like do a bit in his matches where he'd go for like a grip, and he'd go like that, and then
Venga Boys.
Yeah, the Venga Boys. Sometimes end his matches with a conga line like that. But now he's the
Did he come out with a cup of tea when you saw him as well? He always had like a flask with some tea, had like Yorkshire tea in it.
I've never seen him with that before.
Must be a Leeds thing he does.
Must be a Leeds thing. But now he's the post-modern wrestler. He's just got like football shorts on, no knee pads, boots, and he's got like no top on. And he's a technical fucking wizard, that guy. He's just brilliant. He's evolved in every time I've seen him, he's just evolved. He's gotten better and better. He took like maybe a 2-year break, become a personal trainer, back into it, and it's like he's never frigging left. He hasn't missed a spot. He's just recently become the North Wrestling Champion after beating Rory Coyle in a match where he got busted open, I think accidentally. It was a crimson mask of red, and he needed loads of stitches. And then I think he was like wrestling at a different show the week after that. He's my second.
Slate Wilson, give you a shout out, give you a mental image on this one. They've got a promotion in Leeds called Tidal Wrestling, and he was Tidal champion. He was engaged in a feud with Rampage. And on paper, you'd be like, that seems like a really sort of mismatch because of the sizes. But dude, those two guys worked. Like, it's just strength against technical. That's how I know. Like, Liam technically is just sound. You know, he just worked Rampage.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely fantastic. Third one is another English guy. It's Shreddy Black, the Shredliner. His name's Adam Foster. He is a hedge motherfucker. He's been in the NABBA. I think he came placed in the NABBA in the top 10, I think, possibly the top 5, which is the Bodybuilding Association Awards. And he's been around for a good 5-6 years, and he's been improving a lot as well. He's just a fantastic kid. He's got he's a better heel than he is a face, because he's got some really really insulting put downs. He can work the crowd. Crowd hates him. There's always a Shreddy is a cunt chant. Shreddy is a cunt. He's a cunt. Shreddy is a cunt.
Hey, first this time.
People been saying Shreddy is a cunt. Anyone but Shreddy. He rips them up.
Two episodes run. I'm not the first one to say that word. Just saying.
It's constantly getting taken. Is it going to get taken down? Oh well.
Oh, Jay's just walked out. That's it. We've lost Jay now.
There's that sponsorship.
I don't even know. Oh well, leave it or something. Shreddy is a belt collector at the moment as well. He's the MEW champion. I'm sure he's the TNT champion, and the Prime Wrestling champion as well. He's more based around Northeast Cumbria. Out of character, he's a really fucking fantastic bloke as well. He's a really sound lad. He's got loads of time for you as well.
He's somebody I want to get on the show, actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't. Maybe he's just really, really busy or something like that.
Well, yeah, I tried to sort it before we took the hiatus. I've been talking to him about it. I just didn't come back. I've not had a chance to sort it out, but yeah, definitely want him on.
He's nice lad. He was on a Desert Island Graps, which is a Tom Campbell podcast where you like Desert Island discs. You're on a desert island. You take bits and pieces with you, and you take 5 wrestling matches with you. He was on that, and he was really, really good as well. So that's my third. So my fourth would be Dax Harwood.
Yes.
Dax,
Thank you.
Dax the Axe stepped out of being a tag team wrestler and transitioned into being a singles wrestler. You wouldn't tell he's been a tag team wrestler for the past. He's just, again, a technically sound machine. Had banger after banger after banger, as they say, as Sheamus says, in AEW for the last few months that he's been a singles wrestler, and he's gone back to being a tag team wrestler with Cash Wheeler.
Yeah, we've got Bryan Danielson to look forward to tonight as well.
Oh yeah,
That's
really, really, really good. Looking forward to that one.
clinic.
The fifth one is I can't.
Intro.
I'm just gonna say Mox. Mox is the fifth. Again, his old body of work this past year, being the AEW champion, being the GCW champion, his feud with MJF.
Poor man's Miz.
A poor man's what? What did you say? How dare you? I'll just ignore that. So, Mox just got beaten for the AEW Championship, and it's still not gone on holiday. It's a testament to the man that he delayed his holiday to continue this program. It's just the man cuts excellent promos as well. He's good in the ring. Those are my five wrestlers that I've been impressive this whole year.
Yeah, I like the inclusion of the British guys. They are very cool. And I'm not going to argue with Dax. He's in my top five. And Mox, you like him or not, I think you've got to respect the guy's work ethic this year. And he's put a shift in. And he's had solid matches as well. And his promos are always cool.
Absolutely.
Sweet. I like it. Good five. So clockwise, we will go to Mick, and I'll just answer his. It's Miz.
The top five Miz's, yeah. the top 5 6-pack challenge.
In all seriousness,
I don't know what you mean. I'm always completely 100% serious.
All right,
when it comes to the Miz.
Go on then. Mick, what's your top five, bud?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about what best ways to do it and stuff like that, because I didn't know whether to do modern, like sort of recently at the moment, like sort of for the year and stuff, because I don't think I've watched enough really to be doing that for the year, if I'm being honest. I don't watch TV ever. Never watched any of them. I'll catch like the top 10 countdown or something like that. But that's how I watch TV, basically going into pay-per-views, and that's about it. So it's not really fair to do that. So I'd probably go with top 5 WWE or WWF, sorry, of all time and stuff like that. Personally, for me, number 1 for me, the GOAT is Cena. Genuinely for me, John Cena is all time in WWE the number 1. Might not be the best technically, but all around characters and stuff, I think he's just untouchable. And if you look at the dude's body of work, no matter what people say about him and stuff like that, how many top heels have had some of their best matches and best feuds with him, just shows how actually I think underappreciated he is by wrestling fans. If you look at the work, CM Punk, Edge, people like that, Randy Orton, guys like that, some of their best stuff was with Cena. And I'm personally thinking it's going to be he'll come back for 40 and he'll win the 17th title then. The WrestleMania 40.
But on the flip side, could you say that Cena's best work was when he worked with guys like Punk, Orton, Edge?
No, because he also did try and drag decent, believable matches out of some people. Christ, I remember there was one. I'm sure he had one with Great Khali and stuff like that, where sort of like last man standing match or something like that, and where he's doing the spots through the stage and stuff. I'm sure it was Khali that done stuff with that. So I mean, he has dragged crap out of people who you just wouldn't expect as well. So
he's made chicken salad out of shit.
Yeah, basically. Number 2, I'd probably have to go with Eddie Guerrero. Obviously, you know, what can you say about him, not just in WWE, but WCW as well. Again, another one whose body of work is just, it's second to none, basically, if you go back and watch it. I think you'll struggle to find a really bad Eddie Guerrero match. As I say, obviously we lost him too soon. I think he was coming into his, like, sort of absolutely coming into his own when we lost him. And it was just obviously just not on. So we don't know how good he could have been. Exactly the same for me. Number 3 as well would be Owen Hart.
Yes.
Owen Hart would. I'd love to have imagined how many world titles that dude would have held.
You've got to think as well, like just before he died, just after he died. I mean, me and Ryan have talked about this before on a previous episode somewhere down the line. But like Benoit, Jericho, Malenko, Eddie, all those guys turned up months after Owen died. Imagine those matches. Kurt Angle versus Owen Hart.
Well, the number of times I've said it with me mates and stuff like that, we'll be watching like some NXT and stuff like that, and you've got guys like obviously Adam Cole carrying the show and stuff like that, and how ahead of his time Owen Hart was, because if Owen Hart had been around when you've got your likes of your Bryan Danielsons, your CM Punks, Adam Coles, all that stuff and everything like that, just imagine the matches that he could have had with those and stuff like that. He was just ahead of his time.
Yeah.
So that's that one. Number 4, probably would have to go with Mr. Perfect.
Oh, nice.
Because, again, another one. How he wasn't world champion. I think he was supposed to be at some point. I think he was supposed to win it off Hogan at some point, or go into a big program for the title with Hogan, which is why they've done the whole thing where he smashed the belt up with the hammer and stuff, which they claim was the birth of the hardcore title when he done that. They say that's where the belt come from, because it's the belt that Perfect smashed up when he was going to go into this program with Hogan, and for some reason it just got stopped. I don't know why, but again,
that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, Hogan just wouldn't get behind it, wouldn't put him over. They want to get it made to be look bad.
It's basically it's like when I watch like sort of Dolph Ziggler now, how much he reminds me of for the selling.
Said that for years.
Yeah. Ziggler is just a modern day Mr. Perfect when it comes to the selling and everything. Legit. And again, he's another one, Ziggler, who, like Perfect, doesn't get what he deserves. Personally speaking, I think he deserved a good run with the title. When he had the Money in the Bank, he was over as fuck, and never got it. And again, Perfect, I think, especially come around too soon. I think Mr. Perfect again around closer, like sort of to the modern time now, would have been a multiple time world champion.
I think he got an back injury, didn't he? When he was feuding with Brett, and I think that put him out of the picture for a few years. And I think if that hadn't have happened, you could have seen him and Brett going for the world title like they did the IC title.
Yeah.
So it would have been around about that time when Vince guys like Shawn and Brett.
Yeah.
And Perfect would have fit perfectly into that timeline. Yeah,
definitely. And then number 5, we'll stick the Undertaker in there.
Yeah.
Because that's the Undertaker, isn't it? What won't you say he is? For me, he's Mr. WWE. Whatever you say about him, the man, the loyalty. Again, how can you question someone who's been around for as long as he's been around? You know, working at the top. Yes, okay. The last couple of years or so, he's not been anywhere near. But Jesus, you know, nor would any of us be after the amount of punishment he's probably put his body through over the years and stuff. So.
But to be as good as he was, like 15 years in, about 2005, 2006, he reimagined his character again, got a bit more MMA style, ground and pounds. That to me was some of the best work Taker ever did.
Yeah.
Against like Michaels, obviously, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I purposely didn't put Shawn Michaels in just because of the block on Twitter. So, sod him. That's why. Fuck him.
That is a solid top 5. In fairness, obviously, I've got my list of top 5s. I think there's a couple of guys bashing over. Owen, very, very happy you put in there. I'm a massive fan of. I know Ryan's a massive Brett fan. I always thought Owen was better. Just never kind of got the the light he should have got. But, you know, neither one is wrong. Brett's one of the best there ever has been, ever will be. And Owen is, you know, just 1% better in my opinion, just because of the high flying, just for the what he sort of brought to the table at the time. Mr. Ash, you're doing modern day of all time.
Right, so I made two lists because I thought we were doing 2 each kind of thing, so I just made two whatever. So like I've done like my all-time favourites, and then which I've only done 4 of, to be fair with you. But then I've done 5 current favourites, which may not. It's not really relevant to whether they've had the best year or whatever, but they're just my current favourites that I always like watching. So I'll start at the top, shall I? So this is gonna.
Why I keep talking, I can still hear you.
Yeah, all good. So yeah, this might surprise people, but in my like ADD riddled brain, I remember gimmicks and things much easier than like whole matches and stuff like that. So like the first wrestler that got me into wrestling, basically, I had my mind blown when I saw Kane for the first time in like '97 as a 10-year-old. Like literally blew my mind, and like everything, like the entrance, the walk, the attire, the pyro, it was just fucking amazing, and it blew my mind, and that was probably one of the main reasons I became obsessed with wrestling very quickly. So like as time progressed and he took the mask off and stuff, like he's been around for a long time. Obviously, the guy himself, out of character, is an absolute douchebag. Let's not go too much into that. But like as far as the wrestling things go, like Team Hell No was hilarious and creased me every single week when that was happening. Probably one of my favorite entrances of any wrestler ever was I forget which pay-per-view it was, but it was literally like the pyro exploded on the stage and like it was just buildings on fire, and he came out laughing amongst all the fire, and it was just incredible. So yeah, he's one of the first guys that I truly remember being a young kid getting into wrestling. So. And next one was Razor Ramon, Chico.
Yes.
Like,
hey, yo.
literally just a charisma machine. If you could build a wrestler from top to bottom, you probably would be Razor Ramon, wouldn't it? Like peak Razor Ramon. If he had no like other issues and stuff, would just be incredible. And it's a crying shame that he was never world champion. But for obvious reasons, but like he could carry a match. He was more than happy to give back and put over young kids. Obviously, was it the 1, 2, 3 kid, wasn't it? He didn't have to because 1, 2, 3 kid was like brand new in the company and didn't really have a lot of weight. Yet he chose to just put him over, and yeah, it's good stuff. And
loves my suit as well. It's on my fridge.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
good stuff. Obviously a big influence to this guy on my t-shirt as well. Ego's Edge. Just thought I'd put that in there. But yeah, Razor Ramon, dude. I could watch those ladder matches against Shawn Michaels over and over and over again, and yeah, great stuff.
The best punchers as well.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. Next on my list, I didn't realise at the time he was one of my favourites. It's been as time's gone on, and I've gone back and watched his stuff. But it's Kurt Angle, man. He's just like the dude was just insanely good. Like the fact that he your phone hates you, dude.
Nothing but issues.
Yeah, so good. Like the fact he was literally, fresh out of the Olympics or whatever with a broken freaking neck, and like learnt the business in like a year, and then was that good and had so many amazing matches with so many wrestlers. It's just insane. Like, and then he went to TNA, and I feel like TNA got like peak Angle.
Yeah, it was because he was better in TNA than he was in WWE, I thought.
He was freer and had a bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But he was just literally was the wrestling machine. But like every time I watch Kurt Angle back now, I'm just like special. Dude.
Nobody could sell a false finish like him either, as well, like a late kick out after on a 2.
Yeah.
He could do everything as well, though. He could do serious, he could do heel, he could do face, he could do comedy.
He could do deadpan comedy like no other. Like the little cowboy hat, dude. Like I'll forever remember that until the day I die. The little cowboy hat, drinking milk. Oh, mate, it's just funny. Yes, him and was it Steve Austin, wasn't it? As part of that skit, drinking milk and stuff. It's just funny as.
Both trying to impress Vince, weren't they?
Yeah. Hilarious. And so, yeah, I only did 4 in this top list, but that kind of like molds into my second list because one of the guys is like still active. Well, the next guy is still active, but yeah. So I racked my brain for a while and couldn't really look past Chris Jericho because he's literally been around for my entire wrestling watching life and still is around now, like literally, and putting on great matches and just being awesome, basically.
This current run with the Ring of Honor is absolutely banging.
Yeah. I've always been a fan, but I've never really considered him like one of my favorites. But like I just thought to myself, like he's been around this whole entire time that I've been watching, and he's still doing it. That's fucking amazing and deserves a shout out, very much so. Yeah, I'm loving the ROH.
The Ocho.
Yeah, the Ocho story that's going on. I think it's got quite a lot left in it as well, but we'll see where it goes. The list from a few years ago was one of the funniest things ever. Like seriously,
the guy could get a click of a pen over. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, literally, he's just like the perfect like showman, really, isn't he? He's just an entertainer through and through.
Him and Owens got fucked over, didn't they? Basically, when they had the whole thing with the list, that should have been your world title match, that Mania.
Yeah,
and they just got absolutely screwed over.
Do you want to know what happens when our match doesn't go on the main event at WrestleMania? Do you want to know what happens? Vince McMahon, you just made the list. The federal list.
Well, in fairness, though, we've got that to thank. That pretty much set the catalyst for AEW.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he would never have gone to New Japan, never would have fought, Omega. Tony Khan would never have seen it and thought, haha.
Money.
Yeah, for sure.
Much.
And quick shout out to Jake the Snake as well, because like his promos are literally just untouchable.
Best promo guy ever.
Untouchable. My
all-time favorite promo is him at WrestleMania 6, going in against DiBiase.
Oh,
it's unreal.
Splendid.
Unreal, which is weird because also 6 also has the worst thing ever with Roddy Piper.
Let's talk about that. So yeah, that's my 4.5, 5, if you want to call it.
So who's your modern day one then?
So like I'm a big extreme metal guy, so seeing people like Malachi Black just do everything for me. Me and you know from conversations we've had and stuff like. I
refuse to be in the same room when he comes out.
Literally, when they.
I'm confused by this. I think we've missed something here, Ryan. But these inside jokes going on.
just the excitement of Aleister Black and the music when it hits.
Yeah.
We talked about it on a previous episode, and I just put the Randy Marsh picture in front of the computer.
Yeah, so like I'd heard of Tommy End from
ICW
Progress and stuff as well, wasn't it?
I hadn't seen much to be honest with you, this was like a fair few years ago now. So like my first true exposure to the guy was as Aleister Black in NXT, and that NXT run was just incredible. Like Andrade, Johnny Gargano.
The Dream, Velveteen Dream.
Oh mate, yeah, well, yeah. But like the entrance got me because he just rise up off this little platform like onto the screen, and I was just like, "This is sick, dude. Who is this guy?" So, and then watching him do like roundhouse kicks and
a fated black kick is unreal.
it's amazing, yeah. So like, yeah, Malachi Black is one of my guys, absolutely.
And welcome back as well, because he is back now, isn't he? So.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I literally sprung off my sofa when they appeared on Dynamite last week, and I was like watching it early hours, just in the middle of my front room, just like trying to like hold in the squeals of excitement.
Yeah, I was really worried that it was going to just be something completely different when she go out in it and all that. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, so then next on my list is MJF, because we are literally watching a future legend like blaze his trail. Or whether you like him or not, I can see someone shaking their head. Like,
poor man's B-list Miz. B-list Miz.
Nah, he's far beyond what the Miz is
No.
ever going to be able to.
No.
There's literally no reason that there's a comparison between the two either.
Well, there is. MJF just wants to be the Miz. He wants to be the Miz.
He doesn't want to be shit.
It's very rare where I agree with CM Punk, but CM Punk went to a feud and said, "Look, you just want to be the Miz, but the Miz does it better."
No,
Yeah, well, you never go full Punk.
Yeah, evidently. I think
Coming soon.
I think Punk probably would have made one of my lists if recent happenings hadn't happened, and completely
It's
put me off.
all a work.
Yeah, I've still got that kind of bubbling away in the back of my mind, but until it happens, let's just,
after what happened in the match where they're doing the GTS and the biting spots and stuff, it's a complete work now.
No, but they were just being dicks, and why not? We may as well. We're in Chicago, we're gonna be dicks to you.
They were hamming it up in Chicago because the crowd were just completely like, "F you, Lee, F you." But yeah, I was popping big for that last week. It was funny as fuck. Which brings me on swiftly to Kenny Omega. The guy is just literally one of the best I've ever seen, and he had a match with a blow-up doll. Did you ever see that?
Yes. And the one with a 9-year-old girl as well.
Yeah, like what the fuck, dude? It's just crazy. But yeah, he's that good, and yeah, I'm just getting to enjoy this guy while he's got some gas left in the tank is a real pleasure. So his trilogy against Okada from a few years ago was incredible. And the match against Jericho, was it? Did they have two matches in the end?
Two, I think.
They had two.
I think they had two, yeah.
Yeah, they were both.
Pac as well. The match he had against Pac was a banger.
Yeah, years very early days.
Match,
AEW, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
And then we've got Will Ospreay to come as well on Wrestle Kingdom.
Holy shit, dude! That's going to be floppy fest, isn't it? Really.
I loved Omega though as a heel with Don Callis.
Yeah.
69 me Don.
The funniest thing was the painting of them both with no shirts on. Funny guys, very funny guys. I think they are very much aware they don't take themselves very seriously. Like just the piss out of themselves. So and then next is Pac, because I could watch that guy's work for like the rest of time and never be bored ever. Guy's incredible, like literally.
Nobody sells a DDT better than Pac.
It's incredible, dude. Like I watched that and literally think he's dead every time. Like
it's very reminiscent of an RVD pile driver.
Yeah.
The guy's just having a seizure. Oh, he's okay. But yeah, Pac's incredible. I got the pleasure to meet him a couple of years ago outside of Leeds Arena. when he was Neville, proper years ago now. Like, he was rather kind and sweet gentleman for the short amount of time I had him. And then finally, Bray Wyatt. Like, I find this guy just so fascinating. Like, I watched him in NXT years ago when he was paired with some 7-foot dude, Eli Cottonwood, I think it was, and he was just pacing back and forth doing this promo, and then like as he finished his promo, he'd sing what was it? Time is on my side, and I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? And then as time goes on, the Wyatt family took over the show. That was incredible. The whole like the lights going off and the fireflies in the crowd with the phones and stuff, and
Proper Devil's Rejects. So.
Yeah, seriously, big horror fan. So shit like that is completely up my alley.
Good old Waylon Mercy.
Yeah, Waylon Mercy, yeah, for sure. And I just found the whole Fiend thing so fucking fast, like interesting. Like, what's going on here? I remember watching the first Firefly Funhouse like skit thing, and I was just like, it's like a children's TV show. And then all of a sudden he's deadpan looking at the camera and says like this really dark, out of place kind of thing, and then it like flashes like the Fiend for like half a second, and then it's just like, ooh, this is really weird. Let's
I'll probably get stick for this, but I fucking love the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, I did too. It was so unique.
I thought it was amazing.
I loved it, mate. It was awesome. It was what, 2020 WrestleMania, because it was COVID, right?
Yeah.
So
Hollywood Cena and stuff.
Yeah.
We should have had Hollywood Cena with the NWO. That should have so happened. They should have pulled the trigger on that. For somebody to just think, let's stick that in there, it's just like, it was amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I thought it was tons of fun, and that's exactly what wrestling should be, like tons of fun. Yeah. And I'm really happy he's back, and I'm so intrigued by how this whole current story is like panning out. Like, there's little bits and pieces. I don't know whether you guys saw there was
phone number. There was a phone number come up, wasn't there? And somebody's rang it. Yeah. Wrestle Talk was talking about it, and there was a phone number come up, and they rang up, and it's basically somebody talking about like sort of somebody with, I think it's some sort of mental health issue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then basically the line just goes dead after that. But they've always just been dropping all these little Easter eggs in there for people.
Yeah.
Throughout it all.
The way I'm understanding it is that he's got like multiple personality disorder, and he's like trying to figure out who the fuck he is and who the real him is and stuff like that. But like, there's been bits on Raw, I think, or whatever it was. There was an interview happening in front of the camera, and then way in the background, he's there like talking to himself. There's like, and it's just adding little bits like that. It's just really clever. So I appreciate the guy's creative mind for sure, and he's going to be making horror movies. So fuck yes, I'm up for that. Well intrigued.
Haven't they as well? I'm sure they've trademarked some sort of new name of a match type as well for him and LA Knight, which I think they were going to have a match at Survivor Series, and then they decided not to because they're actually invested quite a bit in the storyline now.
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up going to the Rumble or something like that. Was it a lights out match or something?
Lights out.
Yeah.
Sure, it's along those lines.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. LA Knight, yeah. Let me talk.
I'd love for the Uncle Howdy thing to be Barry Windham. It does look like him as well. I would really like that. I think that would be a really nice touch. But I think it is him. I think they're all Bray. We had the whole thing of like sort of where they said, oh, there's going to be a faction and stuff. I think we would have had something happen by now. I think it's going to turn out that everyone's Bray.
Well, Bo's re-signed, doesn't he?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Bo Dallas.
It sounds like it's happening or something, but we haven't seen any concrete evidence just yet, have we? But like, the one thing I will say on that is that the Uncle Howdy thing, someone spotted he had like a dangly necklace, earring with like a cross on, and Bo Dallas was very much the same earring on the same ear, so it could have been Bo Dallas. We shall see when it is revealed. But yeah, I'm just like so interested in Bray Wyatt's just got like a lot going on and very, very intriguing.
But what's good as well is in the modern day of the internet how little is kept a secret and stuff like that. But this, especially with Bray Wyatt and stuff and everything surrounding it, is completely. It's just all speculation. Nobody knows anything. It's like, and I think that's testament to him basically. The fact that
I think that's him and Triple H just being the only two people probably that know what the long-term plan is.
Yeah.
And the fact he's not going to get fed to fucking Goldberg in like 90 seconds.
Give it time.
That literally just derailed the entire like Fiend. Well, first of all, they gave him the title way too soon. He didn't need the title. Gimmicks like the Fiend don't really need the title.
The Hell in a Cell killed it before Goldberg.
That was terrible.
that Hell in a Cell where they painted the cell red and just the way that ended and stuff, that completely just stopped the Fiend thing dead. It
was the title. It was like Ash just said, you don't give somebody like that the title because you book yourself into a corner.
Yeah.
How'd you have somebody like that with the belt, but then have him lose the belt? You can't do it.
But what a belt it was.
5,000 pounds or some shit. Fucking hell.
Yeah, the replica ones are like $5,000.
Yeah.
Was it Tom Savini? Is it
Tom Savini?
Yeah.
Horror legend.
Yeah.
Some fucking idiots probably bought that belt.
If I had money, I would have.
Wear it to bed.
Right. I'll quickly go over mine because some of them have already been touched upon. So I'll go my top 5 of all time. Obviously Owen Hart was in there. Discussed him. For me, for the same reason, Brian Pillman is in my top 5. Just purely because of what he could do when he was Flying Brian back in the day. Then has been part of one of the greatest underrated tag teams of all time, the Hollywood Blondes. And then the whole loose cannon thing, man. That's the Badger. And then, the loose cannon, that character was so ahead of its time. The dude was freaking absolute groundbreaking. When he turned up on ECW and just started going at the fans, calling them marks, smart marks, before any of that terminology was
threatening to piss in the ring.
Yeah. That promo is still one of my favorite promos of all time.
That's who I feel Mox is trying to be now.
Yeah.
Is the Brian Pillman loose cannon? Yeah,
very much. So I do see a lot of, but they're from the same town. Moxley probably grew up emulating, worshipping Pillman, his hometown hero. So I can't fault him for it. And another one that was just taken far too early. And if he'd been around 10 years later, the dude would have gone down as being one of the greatest ever.
He was wicked on commentary as well, though, when he was injured. Yeah. It was a Shotgun Saturday Night he used to do the commentary on.
Yeah. And because he was coming out with stuff that people like, that whole Kevin Sullivan thing where he's just like, yeah, Booker, man, I respect you, and then just walks out. And it's like, everyone's like, what the fuck is he on about?
No showing for Hogan.
Yeah. But yeah, Brian Pillman, not a name that many people will pop up with, but I think if you're not aware of his body of work, it's definitely that ECW promo. Go check it out. And the Steve Austin segment when he breaks into his house. He's got a gun.
He's got a gun.
That was freaking mental. Next one, Eddie Guerrero. Obviously already touched upon it. Probably the greatest wrestler of all time for me. There's very few people in the wrestling world that you can't badmouth, and everybody will disagree with you. You can like Austin, you can hate Austin, you can like The Rock, you can dislike The Rock. You can have an opinion on all of these guys. You can say they weren't very good if you want, and people will disagree. They won't get bent out of shape about it. I think it was last year or the year before, somebody tweeted that Eddie Guerrero sucked, and it freaking melted Twitter. Literally, even like wrestlers were jumping in on it. Just like, no, Eddie does not suck. Eddie, like, everybody had like his back. It was just like a coming together of the wrestling community.
One of the best moments in the entire history of wrestling / sports entertainment is Eddie winning the WWE title, because it was so against the odds.
It's just one of those absolute feel good moments.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, WrestleMania, Benoit, Eddie retains, Benoit wins the title, and then Eddie comes down, and the whole embrace in the ring, like, dude, that had me bawling my eyes out when I watched that. But obviously mentioning Benoit is a little bit like tongue in cheek these days, but unfortunately,
it is what it is.
But he would probably be on many people's lists wrestling wise. But
definitely.
Yeah, anyway.
But no, definitely, yeah, Benoit. Like I said, we're keeping it within the wrestling universe. So just talking about bodies of work. Yeah, Benoit's up there. But for me, promos were lacking. So technically one of the best, but not one of the best all-rounders. So he wouldn't be in my top 5 for that reason.
Toothless aggression.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Macho Man is another one of my top 5. Oh, yeah! First name Macho, last name Man. Dude was awesome, man.
I'm not going to do an impression.
In the land of giants at that time, the guy became world champion. You had guys like Perfect, Rude, Jake the Snake, who were obviously great as well, but they were just missing that one thing, and Macho Man just embodied that era for me. Always a macho guy over Hogan.
Cocaine, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well knows that. Yeah, just Macho's promos, man. Doing the cream of the crop, all that kind of sort of stuff. Just any time he was just there with little cups of cream, talking to. Was it Mean Gene? I want to say it was Mean Gene. Yeah, the cream. But yeah, for me, Macho Man's got to be down as one of the greatest of all time, especially like for influence for modern day guys. Just his style was just unbelievable.
In WCW as well, he was amazing when he was an absolute. The stuff him and Paige were doing, that feud that they had, and was
his willingness to
unbelievable.
put Paige over. His willingness to put Paige over as well. He made Paige a star.
Yeah,
that was just like, you could give him full credit for that.
Yeah,
and the dude was in Spider-Man, so and the dude was Bonesaw.
Bonesaw's ready.
So, and I've never got around to listening to his album though.
25 years as a wrestler prepared for that role as Bonesaw.
I do want to hear the Hogan diss track though, so I might check it out at some point. And the fifth one, I left this open because I wasn't sure. I wanted to see what everybody else says.
Miss.
And Angle's already been covered. So obviously, Angle could be there. Brett could be there. Actually, I've said Owen on there. For me, the fifth one is way out of the box. It's going to be Mick Foley.
I thought you were going to say me.
I just think Mick's very underappreciated. He's loved. Everybody loves, Foley is good. Foley is God. But when you actually look at his body of work, you look back over his career. The Cactus Jack stuff against Vader in WCW was fucking awesome. His Uncle Eric stuff in ECW was awesome. Being the non-hardcore wrestler in a hardcore promotion just to piss the fans off. And then this is a hill I will die on. The dude basically got rejuvenated Taker late 96, 97. He gave Taker meaning in WWE. At that point, before he turned up, Taker's was getting very old very quick by that point. He then got Austin ready to be world champion. He then got The Rock over as champion.
Yeah.
He then got Triple H over as champion. Those four names, Foley made credible, in my opinion.
I'd add a fifth to that as Edge.
Yeah, of course.
With WrestleMania.
WrestleMania,
That give Edge the
Flaming
credibility
table.
that I think he didn't quite have that credibility going into Mania, and then
He made Orton credible as well with that backlash match. He showed Orton could take damage.
That match is unreal.
Yeah, and he wasn't just a pretty boy. So yeah, but like 6 names. You think about those 6 names that he helped add credibility to.
Yeah,
Me, folks, got to be in the list.
Definitely.
he made the TNA title relevant as well.
No. I think Raven did that.
I think Ryan's cat disagrees. Turn around.
Show his arse in a minute.
like, nah, I've had enough of these guys.
But yeah, I've been toying with the Mick Foley thing, or since we sort of said about this, and I'm like, you know what, I'm dying on this hill. Foley is God.
The thought crossed my mind, but the points you just brought up didn't cross my mind. So yeah, but I'm glad somebody brought it up. Really.
Comment, guys. I would say Dax Harwood. I agree with Ryan on that one. Definitely. Will Ospreay, I think, is having a cracking year. Bryan Danielson. Sami Zayn is just out of this world at the minute.
It's just out of the box, isn't he? It's just a different level.
Dude's next level. I mean, Sami's always been next level, but he's finally getting trips. It's actually letting him be who he can be now. He can be that underdog, that you're eventually going to be rooting for. He's going to get turned on.
I think
story.
He's going to get his title match at Rumble, I reckon.
No, I think the payoff will be him and Owens taking on the Usos at Mania.
I still think he'll get a title match at a Rumble or possibly Elimination Chamber, and then I think Mania, like you say, will be the tag titles against the Usos. Although I would love it if FTR were granted their release because they're just absolutely fucking wasted in AEW, and I'd love to see FTR versus the Usos at WrestleMania for the titles.
You think they're wasted in AEW?
Yeah. When are they? They're not on. They should be on every pay-per-view. They should be on.
I kind of get that now. Yeah.
The roster's huge, so I understand, switching up a bit and stuff. But I do kind of agree. Even though I loved Full Gear, I really wanted FTR on the card, and there wasn't any FTR whatsoever.
But that might be business strategy in the sense of we know we're going to get him at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So you're more likely to pay out for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view to see FTR because you didn't see him on the last AEW pay-per-view.
That's how I ended up just accepting.
The fifth one, I'll say Seth Rollins for the modern day. I've not watched much WWE this year, as mentioned numerous times, but everything I have caught whiff of his 5-star match with Cody.
He's tremendous.
I've been a fan of Seth for years. I think the guy's very unselfish. He tried to get Buddy Murphy over. He tried to get Dominic over. Obviously, they put him with Cody when he came back.
Yeah.
And they had their first 5-star match in WWE for fuck knows how many years.
Since Money in the Bank, wasn't it? Cena Punk.
Yeah.
That was the last one, I think.
Like 10 years. So, yeah, first 5-star match in 10 years.
Yeah. Rollins crossed my mind for nowadays, but I don't watch him on a regular enough to end up putting him in my list. But he's a guy I respect a hell of a lot.
He was over as fucking Cardiff as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
He dresses like a tit like everybody else in Wales.
You what?
I said he dresses like a tit like everybody else in Wales.
Yeah, what's your point?
Own that shit.
I do.
Good man.
Dude, how dare you call me a tit when I've got my Waterboy shirt on?
You got what t-shirt on?
Bobby Boucher.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Boucher's Louisiana Mud Dogs.
Nice. On a sidebar, I did notice, don't know whether it's because it was on AEW a couple of weeks ago, but on AEW's merch site, there's a Captain Insano t-shirt.
Because the Acclaim done a music video with Captain Insano in it.
So I was like, yes, I need to get me a Captain Insano t-shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my top 5 of then, now, and, well, not forever.
Yeah.
Because a shout out to MJF as well, because he's had a banging year. He vanished for 2 or 3 months, but the dude has had a banging year. I will cover Mick's face up while I say this, while I edit the video. So here's one for you though, quickly before we wrap it all up. First top five names that come to your mind for the future.
Daniel Garcia.
So obviously MJF's got to be in there for that one. Who's your up and comers?
I know he's not an up and comer, but for me, Gunter. I think Gunter's going to be an absolute monster, fucking heel world champion for years to come.
Fuck yeah. Down for that.
Grayson Waller from NXT, the Australian guy. He's underrated. He's under the radar.
Yeah, at some point he's just got to come out in and he's going to be like, oh shit. Yeah,
Bryce,
we'll go back. We'll do like a spotlight episode.
But actually, I think as well, if you're saying Gunter as the monster heel world champion, I think Bron Breakker's being primed for coming through as you absolute white meat baby face. Fucking get behind that shit as well. Probably who would be the perfect follower for Gunter, Walter, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Shout out to Danny Garcia. I think we'll have a banging few years.
Carmelo Hayes from NXT.
Who's that? Martin. Yeah, he just needs to get a bit more. He needs to get a bit of charisma for my liking. I think Buddy Murphy could at some point finally, again, if he gets a bit of charisma. There's all these guys that have got so good in the ring, but they're just kind of lacking promo wise.
That's it. That's it. A lot of people need a bit of, as you say, personality. They just need that push.
Yeah.
They've got it, but they need a little bit more.
That's it. Just a little bit of charisma.
Ethan Page.
Yes, Ethan Page.
Yeah, it's got everything, man. They just need the push. Big time.
Ethan Page and Ricky Starks, I think we'll be talking about over the next couple of years.
Hell yeah. Carmelo Hayes from NXT as well. If you guys have seen that guy, he can fucking go. HBK absolutely loves him, so that tells you everything.
I wouldn't know.
Let it go, Mick. Let it go.
It'll be on the main roster soon enough.
But yeah, I think that's a good shout out for some future talent, shall we say.
Nathan Fraser as well. Sorry to interject, Nick. Nathan Fraser. Nathan bloody Fraser.
Was that the dude who was in the AEW then went to NXT?
Ben Carter. He was on as Ben Carter a couple of times, and then NXT signed him. NXT UK. Nathan Fraser.
I'll take that. I think that's So we've done just to steal WWE's logo. We've done then, now, and we'll class those guys as the forevers, the foreseeable. Gentlemen, do you want to plug your socials? Do you want to do the generic sign-offs?
Yep. Catch me on Twitter at Yardy316, on Facebook as well. Catch me.
Yeah, on Twitter to Mr. Mick Ego, same as on Instagram, Facebook. Me.
At Tankle Grimoire on Instagram and also at WTLS316 on Instagram for Work the Left Side.
We remembered it. So 316 for you, and it is WTLS on 420 on Twitter for me. And obviously, join us on Facebook. We've got the page. I'm going to start trying to post more stuff on there just to get conversations going. Shout out as well to a guy called Dennis Day, who put Steamboat into his top 5, which I thought was a good shout because he's also a name that doesn't get mentioned enough. But you guy was the ultimate babyface. As much as seen as the ultimate, Steamboat never went heel. And he just rocked it for many, many years. So that is it. That's my final saying. We will end the note bigging up Ricky Steamboat. It's not a bad thing to do. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
I will catch you all very soon.
No problems.